How about getting this passed down to you? A cuckoo clock.
That'd be kind of cool if it's been in the family.
Yeah, I'm not talking, like $100,000 or a house or a car. A cuckoo clock.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
There's a couple of twins. These guys have collected cuckoo clocks for a very long time. As a matter of fact, they have 710 cuckoo clocks in their collection, these two guys.
Yeah, and Roman and Maz have never been married. They have no children. They have no family to leave these cuckoo clocks to. So right now, they're kind of accepting applications, if you will.
So you could get and inherit one of their cuckoo clocks.
Or all of them.
No, I guess, yeah, if you have the room.
See, that's the thing. Sometimes things are passed down and you're like, oh, yes, this is awesome. And then other times things are passed down and you're like, what am I going to do with that?
And it's like, why did Johnny get this and I got this?
Yeah, well, that is true. That's a hard thing in families because sometimes feelings are hurt. I will tell you, my mom just over the weekend passed down a creamer and sugar set to me. They're crystal.
I thought she went into her fridge and gave you her creamer.
She passed down.
Here you go. There's an open mic that just came in. This is through the My HISRadio app.
My grandma, who was born in 1906, gave me a doll when I was a little girl. And it's the kind of doll that doesn't have any legs, but she lays flat on the bed. Her dress lays out, and it's a homemade doll. And I recently gave it to my daughter, who's 37, and hopefully she'll be able to give it to our granddaughter in the future.
I love that.
I love that, too. Okay, so Joe texted 800-447-7234 and said, my parents have been cleaning out their house. They're both in their 70s and know that their kids really don't want to go through all the junk in the house. However, on the things that the kids do want, they've been putting Post-it notes under them with their names on it. So they're going ahead and they're claiming items in the house in preparations for when the parents pass away.
Do mom and dad know this?
I don't know.
I hope they do.
If I start finding sticky notes around the things in my house, I'm going to be like,
oh, no.
What now?
My kids want me gone. I'm not even ready yet. What's going on here?
I got a lot of years.
Here's another open mic that just came in on the My HISRadio app.
Hi, my name is Gavin, and my poppy, he passed down his Bible to me. And when I get older, I want to pass that Bible down to my grandchildren, and maybe it'll keep going on where they pass it on to their grandchildren, on and on.
Okay.
Oh, my goodness.
How sweet that a person that young is already thinking about passing on a Bible from Grandpappy to his grandkids.
And then on after even
that.
I
love this.
I love your heart so much. What a sweetie. Okay, so Don texted and said, received my grandpa's rocking chair. So he was blind. He smoked his pipe every day in his chair and sat there and listened to baseball games. Grandpa chose me out of all the family to have his chair. I still have it, and such a blessing.
That is so cool.
It is very sweet. Lola said, my dad says that Grandpa passed down his good looks and his good humor.
Ah.
And Kathy said, my dad was the paper boy when he was 7, and he gave me his first pay, which was a silver dollar, and she took the silver dollar, and she's already passed it down to her firstborn.
For real?
So while the monetary value of it is not that much, wow, the significance of it.
You never know.
Cool.
Who knows what that
guess
silver
so.
dollar will turn into one day?
Eventually, but I bet they won't part with it.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
If you watch Pawn Stars in Las Vegas, some people get away with a lot of stuff or give away a lot of stuff they inherited.
Rob and Lizz.
His morning crew.
It's Rob and Lizz in the morning. This is His Radio.
Sophie was going through some things mental health-wise, even to the point where she didn't know if she wanted to see the next day. And she is a high school student, and she started to notice there were other kids around her and even younger than her that was having these same issues, same thoughts. And so she thought, what in the world can I do? She credits God. She said, God saved me. God brought me through all of this, staying in his word, just having his scripture written on my heart. And she said, here's something I can do to encourage others. And she started a prayer wall at her high school. Now it's only in the girls' bathroom from what I understand right now, in Kentucky. And what they do is they put the sticky notes like all over the mirror in the girls' bathroom, and you can take a picture of those sticky notes. You can take a sticky note that has scripture on it, or just write it down in your journal or whatever. And so it's pretty cool. It's starting to take off now.
I love what she calls it. It's first called the prayer sink because it's it's on the mirror. Prayer mirror. She calls it the prayer mirror. It's over the sink in the girls' bathroom, and she encouraged them, leave a verse, spread the word.
Yeah.
And then it went on to the tile wall on the bathroom in the girls' room at that high school, and wow, it's being used.
Right. She said there was one girl, I don't think she knew who the girl was, like they'd never met or whatever, but she saw one of the sticky notes on one of her notebooks.
Get out,
and
really?
So she
Good.
knew that it was, I'm going to cry. It was encouraging these other students.
How impacting something simple like that is. And that was student initiated.
Yeah.
So here's a student that has Jesus in a public school like that.
Yeah, and just sharing what saved her life, and she credits God.
Rob and Lizz.
His morning crew.
Ina, just like my daughter, is getting married. And the wedding dress is a big thing. I think my daughter and wife are going to be going off to get it in a couple of weeks.
She already
the dress
picked
itself.
It, but they're going to pick it up from the
Exactly.
alterations.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember because that's 2 hours away. So they're going to make a day out of it. So anyway, Ina, I believe, got hers.
She did, but she had a little surprise. So she went in, dress is $2,000 about that. And when she went to pay for it, they take the iPad pretty much wherever you go and they flip it around and it's like 10, 15, 20, whatever % tip. And Ina's like, what now? So she speaks a different language as well as English. So she spoke to her friend in that other language and she was like, did you tip on your wedding dress? And the girl's like, no. She said, they want me to tip. She said $200 would have been the minimum tip that they were kind of asking for.
Oh, because of 10%
Yes.
of 2,000's 200.
Yes.
Ouch.
Out. And then if you did 20%, 400, listen, the wedding costs are crazy anyway. I mean, the cake can be $500.
I have a thought. I have a thought about that because it was on an iPad, right?
Yeah.
I have a thought about that. But I understand that when Scott went to get his tux, that he tipped very generously.
What?
Thankfully, when I got married 20 plus years ago, the whole tipping movement hadn't really taken hold yet. And so I wasn't, pressured into that whole iPad, tip here, tip that. But I don't think I would have tipped either, my tuxedo rental.
Now, a lot of small businesses use the iPad. Mm-hmm. They use that technology because it really helps. It's a lot cheaper than having to buy some of the expensive cash register
Sure, right?
stuff.
Much easier.
I have a feeling that there is an app or a program, an application they use on their iPad that automatically puts the tip on there. Not put it there, the tipping option. That
Tipping
it
option.
automatically has the tipping option there. So when you slide the card or whatever they do and you turn it around, the next screen is a default tipping thing. That's my thought.
So that it's not something they're actually looking for. It's just part of the system.
That's my thought.
That could very well be. It actually makes me feel a whole lot better if that is the case.
It makes sense because I don't go off to any grocery store and they ask for a tip. But when
True.
I go to a small business and they have one of those iPads, I see it more there than not, which makes me think, oh, this is a default thing in the program that they're using on their iPad.
Yeah, because a lot of times, like if it's a restaurant or not really a restaurant, if you have a waiter-waitress situation, but like drive-through, and sometimes it'll say your tip, and I'm like, you literally handed me my coffee. Like literally what you were hired for. And I don't mean to be mean. I'm just like, just put it in the price. If you're actually looking for that extra little bump, just put it in the price and then I'll have to think about it. That's just me.
That's just Liz.
Is it just me, though?
Rob and Lizz.
His morning crew.
Ina, just like my daughter, is getting married. And the wedding dress is a big thing. I think my daughter and wife are going to be going off to get it in a couple of weeks.
She already
The dress
picked
itself.
it, but
Yeah.
they're going to pick it up from the
Exactly.
alterations.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember because that's 2 hours away. So they're going to make a day out of it. So Anyway, Ina, I believe, got hers.
She did. But she had a little surprise. So she went in, dresses $2,000 about that. And when she went to pay for it, they take the iPad pretty much wherever you go and they flip it around and it's like 10, 15, 20, whatever % tip. And Ina's like, what now? So she speaks a different language as well as English. So she spoke to her friend in that other language and she was like, did you tip on your wedding dress? And the girl's like, no. She said, they want me to tip. She said $200 would have been the minimum tip that they were kind of asking for.
Oh, because of 10%
Yes.
of 2,000's 200.
Yes.
Ouch.
Out. And then if you did 20%, 400, I mean, listen, the wedding costs are crazy anyway. I mean, the cake can be $500.
I have a thought about that because it was on an iPad, right?
Yeah.
I have a thought about that. But I understand that when Scott went to get his tux, that he tipped very generously.
What?
Thankfully, when I got married 20 plus years ago, the whole tipping movement hadn't really taken hold yet. And so I wasn't, pressured into that whole iPad, tip here, tip that. But I don't think I would have tipped either, my tuxedo rental.
Now, a lot of small businesses use the iPad. Mm-hmm. They use that technology because it really helps. It's a lot cheaper than having to buy some of the expensive cash register.
Sure, right?
Stuff.
Much easier.
I have a feeling that there is an app or a program, an application they use on their iPad that automatically puts the tip on there. Not put it there, the tipping option. That
Tipping
it automatically has the tipping option there. So when you slide the card or whatever they do and you turn it around, the next screen is a default tipping thing. That's my thought.
So that it's not something they're actually looking for, it's just part of the system.
That's my thought.
That could very well be. It actually makes me feel a whole lot better if that is the case.
It makes sense because I don't go off to any grocery store and they ask for a tip. But when
True.
I go to a small business and they have one of those iPads, I see it more there than not, which makes me think, oh, this is a default thing in the program that they're using on their iPad.
Yeah, because a lot of times, like if it's a restaurant or not really a restaurant if you have a waiter-waitress situation, but like drive-through, and sometimes it'll say your tip, and I'm like, you literally handed me my coffee. Like literally what you were hired for. And I don't mean to be mean. I'm just like, just put it in the price. If you're actually looking for that extra little bump, just put it in the price and then I'll have to think about it. That's just me.
That's just Liz.
Is it just me, though?
800-447-7234. Hey there, Wendy.
I am with Liz. There's the price, and it includes everything. Your tax, your tip, there it is.
And that's what I wish would happen. And that goes for things like I went to a place where you would order toast, and they would charge 25 to 50 cents for the butter and the jelly. And I'm like, don't do that. Don't nitpick it. Just charge me $1.50, or $2.50 or whatever.
I went to a bagel place, and it was a bagel shop, and they charged me to cut the bagel. If I wanted my bagel sliced, they charged me to slice it.
I wonder if it was a self-serve thing, if they charge you for the knife.
I don't know. I asked her, I said, don't you have a bagel slicer? She said, no. I'm like, you're a bagel shop. Why wouldn't you have a bagel slicer?
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
Friend of mine on Facebook, she was posting some pictures the other day of her little boy, her little man. He must be about 2-3 years old, getting his first haircut. And my heart was like just dropping because the curls were being cut off of his hair.
Oh.
And it was like, I get it. Like the hair's just too long. It's just getting to a place. It's hard to manage, tangles and all that. But it hurts. I remember getting my boys, they went to a place called Jelly Beans that was around here when they were about that age. And that very first haircut's just like, oh, my baby's growing up.
Really?
It hurts my heart.
I'm like, finally, a haircut.
Oh, no.
This stuff got so long. So Scott, I don't think Scott was involved in your child's or both of them's first haircut.
Well, no, and my wife was so emotional. I just remember how she was getting all teary-eyed and emotional about my daughter, and then later, my son's first clipping of the hair, and I'm like, it's going to grow back. Why are you so emotional? But to her, it was just this big moment, and I think that's what it was. This was the first haircut, and she built it up, and it was just, really sentimental for her, I guess.
Well,
and every child's different, too, on how they receive it.
Oh. Right. Some just sit there. I remember Hayden, the younger of the two, just sat there stoically, which is his kind of go-to,
Mm-hmm.
Luke. Well, especially when the clippers come out, because I get it, the clipper, and then it feels weird on the back of the neck. Because I used to have my hair very, very short, and they would use clippers on the back of my neck, which is weird, but it feels odd. And if you're 2 and you have no idea what that is.
When I was a kid, here's what I remember when I was a child, is that my right ear always got clipped.
Is your right
always.
ear bigger?
I've
never noticed
I think
it.
my head finally grew into my ears.
That does happen.
Because I had really honking huge ears when I was a kid. So Ninja's, it's your dad, Ninja, that owns like a barber shop, right?
My dad and my pawpaw together.
Oh, nice. I love this.
Yes.
And you can call him Pawpaw.
Yes, I do. And they did my first haircuts. I believe it was my pawpaw, or maybe it was my dad. I can't remember. It was a while ago. But what they do now is my pawpaw wrote a book, and so they changed the kid's name out with every kid.
So they get a book?
Mm-hmm.
No, I
There's
want
a
to get my
little
haircut.
story
About the haircut.
About the haircut.
Oh, my
I love
goodness.
There's a little
this.
picture and clipping of the hair in the back. And what my pawpaw does for some of the kids, because, if they're freaking out, he doesn't do it, but he'll cut their hair and then drop, like, a fake ear on the floor and be like, uh-oh. And the kid's like, oh, my gosh.
Poor kid.
But it's only just, like, the ones that, aren't freaking out.
I've never met Ninja's Pawpaw.
I love him.
But I want him to be my best friend.
I just cut your ear off, kid. What?
That is the best. Okay,
That's great.
Lindsay is here at 800-447-7234. Hey there, Lindsay.
I went to Jelly Beans as a kid, too, from what Liz said, and my son has a mullet right now. I don't know, it's getting kind of long in the back. We need to let it grow a little longer in the front and the sides before we get it cut, or else he'll look kind of funny. But I just can't stand the mullet.
So it sounds like if you have anything to do with this, the mullet will be gone.
By the summertime, I feel like it'll be cut by the summer.
Rob and Lizz.
His morning crew.
All of a sudden, Jody's at home, and she gets an alarm on her phone, and she owns a pet rescue. And so she's like, oh, no. So she signs on, and she looks at the security on her app of all the cameras, and then she sees what is going on. It was alarming. One of the dogs got loose.
Oh, no.
They're running around, causing havoc, trying to get the other dogs out of their kennels so they can make this mass exodus. This dog was not too, he didn't succeed in getting all the other dogs out.
You were going to say he wasn't too bright.
No.
No.
I couldn't think of the word succeed.
Oh,
It
okay.
came to me.
Okay.
Listen, I'm not too bright. And so this dog that looks like a husky to me all of a sudden decided, I'm going to have fun. So he got into everything in that office. Even the police were called because the alarm came out. And then the police were able to get into the building. And so he saw the dog. He saw all the stuff that was going on. The dog was really happy that he had a friend. He thought, hey, someone's going to be here to play with me. The police looking around and going, did somebody let this dog loose? What's going on? No, it was the dog that did it all. Here's the thing. The police officer, after he put the dog back into its kennel, cleaned up
No.
the massive mess that was left behind.
Now that's going above and beyond because he
Right?
did not have to do that. He just came in to investigate to see what was happening, got the dog back where he was. But wow, to clean it up, that's pretty cool.
There was dog food all over the floor. The police officer swept it up. All the stuff that fell over, cabinets and chairs, and there was paperwork all over the place. He cleaned it all up, tidied all up, and then he left and locked the door.
Dog's got to be a teenager. Has to be.
You would
know?
think, right? All that big mess.
Rob and Lizz.
His morning crew.
Somebody looked down on the ground. They went, oh, look, it's an iPhone. Apparently, and it was fully intact. Apparently, this is one of the iPhones that was sucked out of that Alaskan Airlines plane. You know that they call it a door plug, but it was like a emergency aisle that instead of having it one, they just plugged it up with a thing,
thing.
where the door is supposed
With
to
a
be.
window, yeah.
That's the best way I can only explain that, because I hear door plug. I'm like, what does that
What
mean?
in the world? Like a little teeny tiny thing.
Somebody had a plug in a door. But that was a tragic thing that happened. A guy's shirt came off of him. It was a teenager. Some iPhones flew out that hole. It could have been a whole lot worse. And the people are starting to find iPhones.
Isn't that weird? Now, everybody on a plane just about has some sort of device in their hand. You'll see some people working on laptops or looking at iPads or their phone. So some of these, when you lose that cabin pressure and it's sucked out, things are going to go flying out. Thankfully, it was just devices and nothing else.
Well, here's the thing. They were 16,000 feet. The iPhone survived that kind of a fall because it works.
But yet, if I drop it from I'm 5'3", it shatters into a million pieces.
Rob and Lizz.
His morning crew.
I'm taking a girls' trip to New York City, and we've been thinking about getting tickets for Broadway.
I think she's about a month away from that.
Yeah. And looking at tickets for Broadway, oh my goodness, they are expensive.
Of course, everything New York City is expensive.
Not everything. Like you can kind of work it a little bit and try to find.
Really?
Oh, really?
Okay.
Like they have 99-cent pizza slices.
Where?
They have them like all over the place. Now I haven't been in 4 or 5 years now, so it may be like $1.50, but it's still. So you can get lunch for $1.50. You can eat off the food trucks. There's a girl.
Whoa.
Yeah. No, they're great.
Okay.
Oh, they're fantastic. There is a woman named Claire, and she's been working as a waitress on Broadway or in Broadway for a good while.
Okay.
She has been wanting to go see this this show, Merrily We Roll Along. I've never heard of it, to tell you the truth.
Oh, yeah. That guy's in it.
That guy?
Yeah.
Which guy?
And then that actress?
Sure. Tell me.
What's her name?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So she's been wanting to see this for a while. So she gets a lot of people in the restaurant where she works who are on their way to see a show. So she had this conversation with this couple, and she's like, oh, which one are you going to? They told her, Merrily We Roll Along. And she was like, oh, I've always wanted to see it. So they have this great rapport. She serves them. They get their bill. Their bill's like $250. I know, right? They were dropping some change. Then they tipped her $500 on top of what they spent, and they were like, go merrily into the orchestra. And so they were giving her enough money to get orchestra seats to see that show she'd
I don't know what that actually means. They sound like they would be good seats, but what does orchestra seats mean?
So the orchestra seats are right behind the orchestra. So the orchestra is always down in the front.
Right.
And so she's going to be sitting basically like first, second, third row, something like that.
In front of the orchestra.
Behind. The orchestra is always in the front. And then her seats are behind the orchestra.
She's in between the orchestra and the stage?
No. The orchestra is between her and the stage. And they're set kind of low, so you can't really see them. They don't interfere.
That's a whole other question that doesn't sound like it's behind, it's in front. But go ahead. I'm not going to go there.
No, and so, she made this post, and she's like, thank you so much for the gentleman who really basically made this dream come true.
That's so good.
And so she went and got to sit really, really close and see her show.
Rob and Lizz.
His morning crew.
I don't know how well you are or how good you are when it comes to typing on your iPhone. I'm going to give full disclosure. I get aggravated because there are times that my thumb will hit like the space bar, the period or dot or enter. And all of a sudden, half an email or half a text will go out. And I'm like, I was not finished. And it's all googly gop.
Right. It goes,
right?
And then it sends it.
One of the best that I've ever had in history of having phones in my life was the BlackBerry that had the keyboard on it.
Yeah.
That was kind of good. Someone wised up, and they developed a keyboard that's kind of like a BlackBerry keyboard that you plug into the bottom of your iPhone. And it lines up perfectly. It even has a case that goes with it. And it works just like the BlackBerry keyboard worked.
Yeah, I love the fact that it's kind of a case, so you don't have to buy the keyboard and the case and the phone and the things. Like, it's all in one. And yeah, it's going to make it so much easier. So, you'll get the little message at the bottom. It says, excuse typos, fat fingers, or, whatever.
Yeah.
I feel like most of us deal with that.
I kind of want to get this thing. At least try it. It's I don't know. It's kind of pricey. So far, they only have them for the 14 Pro, the 15 Pro. That's like $139.
Oh my goodness, for a keyboard?
And then for the 15 Pro Max, add another $20 to it, and then that's how much that one costs. But the company's called Clicks, and they're in the UK, and they have these BlackBerry type physical keyboards that you can put on those iPhones I just mentioned.
Well, I'm gonna wait for the price to come down.
Yeah. If it can be like $12, hey.
We're in.
Rob and Lizz.
His morning crew.
Yeah, so the orchestra seats are right behind the orchestra.
That's alarming to me. Wouldn't you say? I don't know if you heard that, but our alarm just went off, but everything is okay.
Okay. So here, Kristen is going to explain more about the orchestra seating situation. She texted. She said, look, everything is backwards. When you're on the stage, so the orchestra section is behind the orchestra from the stage, and that's why it's called behind the orchestra. Stage left would be to go to your right, but the audience is left, and it's all from the perspective of the stage, not from the perspective of the audience.
See, and she's absolutely right. So Kristen is explaining, so you got stage left, stage right. In front of the stage is the orchestra. So behind the orchestra is the stage. So when you're in the seats, the orchestra is in front of you because it's in front of the stage. Never. I've never seen seats in between the orchestra and the stage.
They're not.
Exactly.
They're not. It's the seats, the orchestra, the stage.
So the orchestra is in front of you. And behind the orchestra is the stage.
Behind the orchestra? No.
Yes,
in front of the orchestra is the stage, and behind the orchestra is the first set of seats.
You've never, ever looked down into the pit. Because
sure I have.
Okay, then where is the conductor?
He is typically what I've seen sort of in the middle, sort of.
And where's his back?
His back is to me.
Okay.
So he's in front of me.
Okay, so he's in front of you.
Yeah.
There you go. And so the orchestra, which way are they facing?
Toward the conductor.
Exactly.
But if he's in the middle.
Hold on. So here's an open mic that came in through the My HISRadio app.
My brain just exploded trying to listen to y'all talk about this orchestra section. I think that, Liz, you weren't explaining it as if he's walking towards the stage, that you have the seats, then you have the orchestra that's in front of the stage because they are playing the music for the play. So there's no seats in front of them.
Right.
Okay, yeah, my head exploded.
Yeah, see? Exactly. So you have, she said it perfectly. They said it perfectly, just like Kristen. So you come down, and there's the seats. In front of you is the orchestra. Behind the orchestra is the stage, because when you're on the stage, in front of the stage is the orchestra. Behind the orchestra is the stage. So you're never sitting behind the orchestra.
You're always sitting behind the orchestra unless you're on stage.
No, you can't be, because then you have the orchestra, and then there's the stage. So in front of the stage is the orchestra, not behind the stage.
So if I'm behind... Sorry, wait a minute. If I'm in front of the orchestra and they tell me if I have orchestra ticket seats, I'm now sitting on the stage. Thanks, Rob.